Coach, I asked your players the same thing. Kind of played out same way the Florida game did in the first half of that game, right there close. But your guys came out with a different intensity. Seemed like a different focus in the second half. I think 14-3 to start the half. What was different? I mean, was it just their intensity on the defensive end?
What'd they say? You recall what they said?
Cam said he was just more focused. Learned from that. Learned that they had to bring it.
Yeah, we actually, there was a last, which obviously you guys know they don't listen to me that often, but it was the last thing that we talked about before we went out, is that I don't want anyone in the locker room talking about what we should have did, and I want you to leave everything you got on the court. We've been in these situations, and we've got to come out of this gate and play even harder, because they're gonna. And my big theme with them the last minute, as before we left them to go on and get warmed up, was just, I don't want that locker room to be like that, where we're talking about what we should have done, next time. And so, I don't know, like you said, they had a great intensity, started on the defensive end, and certainly when you start making shots, it just builds everybody's confidence.
Benjamin, go ahead, and then we'll go to Danny P.
Yeah, along those same lines, you've had a number of opportunities, especially here at home against top 10 teams, some of the best in the country, and you haven't been able to get it done. So was there, I don't know about desperation, but certainly the energy of like, hey, there's our chance, we got another shot at this one, and maybe a little bit of extra motivation from your guys, especially when it was a tight game at halftime?
I would hope so. We talk about opportunities a lot, especially as you're going into the SEC, especially this year, and you get giddy about looking at the schedule in terms of how many opportunities you're going to have because of how well the SEC did in the non-league portion of the season. But to your point, if you don't take advantage of them, they're just missed opportunities. They're not moving the needle. Sometimes they move the needle in the wrong way, and certainly for me, as I look down the road with 6 games remaining prior to tonight, you start thinking that way, because every one of them is going to be really, really hard. And for what we're trying to do and where we're trying to go, we have to take care of those opportunities, and we have on the road, on a consistent basis. But for whatever reason, this particular season, we've not been able to win the games like this, like top 5, top 10 opponents. So I got to believe that that'll just raise the confidence level of our locker room.
Coach, it's the second game now that Claudio's come off the bench, and obviously he provided a spark in that second half with his 3-point shooting. Just what did you see from him, and did he look like he had a little pep in his step to me?
Yeah, again, me, I don't like to talk for them. But first of all, he handled it well. It wasn't nothing. He was like, whatever we got to do, coach. He's about winning. We just felt that it was time to just tweak it a little bit and change up, some of the guys that were playing, together more minutes because of how you started and how you sub. But just, he works so hard, and he is such a good guy. Like, he's as energized as we have in terms of, like shoot-arounds, in terms of when it's kind of like, stuff that they're not excited about doing, walk-through stuff, or half-speed stuff. And he's always leading the charge in terms of his energy and his talk and his focus. And so our staff appreciates him so much, and you root for all your guys. But when you got a guy that's a one-year guy and he's bought totally in to the culture the way he has, you want him to do well. And he's had some frustrating, performances because, he's known as a scorer/shooter, and he's went through some games where he wasn't, shooting at the level that he's used to, but he stuck with it. And this is a great example of who he is on our team. One of the first opportunities he had to shoot the ball in the first half, he turned it down. And as he was coming back on defense, the next time it was like a dead ball, I looked, and I heard him say it, and I looked, there were 3 guys, one standing up, barking at him to shoot the darn basketball. And I'm like, okay, yeah, shoot it, Claudio. Keep shooting the ball. I joined the party, but that tells you a lot, the respect that he has from his teammates for that early in the game, for them to encourage him to not to turn down shots.
We'll stay with the front row middle, we'll go to David, and then we'll go back to the cameras.
A&M seems like a team that does a really good job making teams play their style of ball or get out of the game. What did you do with your guys to kind of keep setting the tone and play the way you wanted to play?
Well, like you said, A&M's really good at dragging you into the ring. They're a physical basketball team. I mean, they're number one in the country in offensive rebounding. They're number one in the SEC in offensive rebounding. They're number one in defensive rebounding, and they're number one in an unbelievably athletic league in forcing turnovers. And so, you know, we obviously knew exactly how they were going to play, and you don't have a choice at times. And we talked a lot about that. You know, we're going to have to get in the trenches. And as the second half, we talked about the trenches going deeper. We got to keep diving in there because that's the way they're going to pull us down. And you just got to accept it at times, and you've got to, you know, do your best to match what they're doing. Certainly trying to exceed it. But you know, they've won the rebounding battle, right? And to be honest with you, you know, deep down, I didn't know if we could win the rebounding battle. I just was hoping to neutralize it because of, you know, what they do. That's what they do. But I thought in the second half especially, we won the turnover battle. I mean, to me, that was, you know, the story of the game is how many times we turned them over and turned defense to offense. And then certainly when you start making threes, you know, that was the separation in the game.
Way in the back, Coach.
Coach, you've had your fair share of top 10 opportunities. To finally get over that hump, how does that make you feel? How good does this win feel for you? But also, what was that locker room like after the game?
Well, fortunately, we've had some wins, you know, since we were right against top 10 teams. But for this particular team, you know, it was needed. You know, if you look at our record against, you know, whatever the parameters are, you know, top 6 net or top 20 net, it's really, really good. But to take it to the next level and get your confidence that you can play with, you know, more teams, that you can compete with the better teams in the league and even across the country. You know, that's what you need. You need validation. You need to, we can talk to her blue in the face, but after you do that, you know, and I would expect them to have a different bounce in their step come Thursday when we start practice.
We'll go to Brendan over here on the far side to Coach's right.
Yeah, just kind of seemed like the kind of night where you guys needed and brought some grit between, you know, forcing turnovers, playing really stiff defense in the second half. Just what did you think of your team after that end?
You know, I thought 3 games in a row we've done that. At Georgia, at Ole Miss, and then certainly tonight. And when we were in the locker room celebrating, music's going, I heard Sean Jones, say it 2 or 3 times. That's Bulldog basketball. And I heard him say it, you know, just kind of to whomever. And when I got a chance, when they quieted down, I said, Sean, tell him what you said. Tell him what you said. And he said it. And I was like, that's right. That's who we are. You all knew that, you know, before you got here. That needs to be a part of our DNA. And it's been a part of our DNA, you know, sometimes, but it hasn't been on a consistent basis for us. And hopefully, you know, now that they've had some success and they've seen how it can work for this particular team, you know, we'll have complete buy-in.
Got time for